to Europe or US as the first point of contact on the edge. So that's one of the initiatives that was launched only 2 weeks ago. The other initiative is really to partner with the best of breed. It's not really great that the telco wants to build out, for example, its own CDN. We've seen that happen in Europe, and we've also seen the arguments against it. So we've partnered with Akamai, who's the #1 global CDN, and they've deployed a lot of their infrastructure into region, Egypt, Bahrain, UAE, Oman, and they've got visions of deploying furthermore out into Saudi, etc. But also housing their CDN and their servers in the IX means that they can then just peer with any eyeball providers in the market today. So we're bringing the internet into the data network using the best of breed CDN. We're also partnering with the online video platform to give the broadcasters the ability to encode, transcode on the fly, whether it's VOD or live content. And from that, we're allowing them to manage their content, publish their content, give them the ability to find routes to monetize on their content by providing them the analytics to support that. So, broadcasters are interested in what their end users are watching, how they're watching it, how long they're watching it, and to drive their advertising if they have an advertising model. So what we're trying to do from Do's perspective is take that heavy load off you, but give you the tools and give you the platform and give you the ammunition, if you like, to try and drive your online business.
Right. But now, at the end of the day, I mean, yes, those are all great initiatives, but how do they amount to, the bottom line? I mean, the broadcasters, how is it saving them money in doing this as opposed to what they're doing today?
Sure,
and they're spending a lot of money doing
So
what they're
if
doing.
we take, for example, live streaming today in this region, connectivity in this region isn't great. Okay, we all know that, and it costs a lot of money. Internet costs a lot of money. Typically, today, if broadcasters have got 4 or 5 channels they want to stream live to thousands of concurrent users, the best performance would be that you uplink and downlink in Europe and deliver from there. But then there's latency associated with that.
But that's because it's cheaper to do it there.
It's not that it's cheaper, it's because the internet's connectivity out isn't big enough to support the amount of demand. Especially when you're talking about the complexity of the connected devices, when you're talking about adaptive bit rates to different profiles, whether it's to iPad, tablets, or PC, you're looking at different, and with each of those profiles, you're talking about growth. You're also talking about storage, you're talking about extended bandwidth. So the aim of the holistic view that we have is to provide the connectivity within Do network, and also provide a secure network, because obviously here in this region, piracy, I'm always hearing customers saying piracy is an issue to them. Okay. Security is very important. Okay. So it's really just extending the reach, but without sort of saying to the customer that you need to provide the internet bandwidth. That's your responsibility, and that's what you need to do. Okay. What we're trying to do as an initiative and support our broadcasters and customers in region by saying, we acknowledge that this is a big demand and we want to take it in-house.
So you're going to basically give them an end-to-end offering?
That's exactly what we're trying to do. It's not here yet. The vision is there, and certainly we're taking some of the steps already to put that in place.
Okay, we'll change the tone here. We'll go to Hiba. Now, obviously, DMI is a public broadcaster. They have different sort of goals behind going online, and you've already been delivering content online. Rather than just talking about, today it's what's on broadcast goes online, correct? Is there a plan to maybe adapt the type of content that goes online to be different across whether it be social networks or the online channels that you have versus what's happening on broadcast?
Well, actually, DMI owns around 85% of its own content. So what we do is we try our best to be on all platforms and reach the biggest amount of audience that we can. We are increasing our presence online and social media, and even try to introduce more technologies and digital services like VOD, live streaming, mobile applications, and even the social presence. So we're trying to broadcast and make our content in use for our users on all of these new technologies and services.
Okay, awesome. Robin?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still kind of a little confused here between, the telcos. I'm in the middle, the sort of broadcaster over here, and the telcos are on one side. So
Yeah.
I'm going to kind of take that analogy in terms of where we sit. In the end, they do compete because there are only so many eyeballs out there. There are only so many eyeballs watching TV and content, and therefore only so many eyeballs watching advertising. So the question is, where's the money coming from? A lot of talk about cost, not much talk about margin this morning, I think. It's like, where's the profit and who's benefiting from that? I mean, the telcos move into video space because, yeah, they've got they have a nice infrastructure and it's set up, but they don't do it for love, they do it to make money. And so, how do they, in the end, make the most money? They must move into the content business because that's where the value add is. And at the moment, yes, it's nice to have a pass-through for the broadcasters, but in the end, I mean, the thing that matters is the telcos have the ability and micropayment strategy to bill the customers, but they don't really know how to sell advertising. Whereas over here, you've got the broadcasters who know how to sell advertising, but they don't really know how to bill their customers unless you're on a pay TV platform. But most of it is free to air here in this region. So you've got this kind of dilemma between the two sides. And how the issue therefore becomes, when there's so much money, if you have $1,000 worth of advertising and you divide it up in 10 ways, 10% on the tablet, 10% on the TV, 10%, you still got $1,000. Yeah. The key to it is how do we get it to $1,200 and make it more effective? And that has to be the way that people are measuring what they do. And that's where the telcos have the edge, because they can mine the data. You're absolutely right. You can say who's watching for how long, when, and how. And that is immensely powerful data, which you can sell, which the broadcasters struggle to sell because there's no people meters in this region.
Yeah, there's also the engagement part, right? Which is obviously important for advertisers, right? Getting the eyeballs, keeping that relationship, which, to me it can get confusing sometimes because you have a broadcaster, a telco offering a service online with a broadcast channel, and then you have the broadcaster doing their own content, okay, and it's going online. So now they're trying to sell advertising there versus here, but now who's got really the eyeballs, and does it count? And I think that's where we need to go. And are we at that point in the region where online advertising is reaching that mark or not? And I think probably the guy sitting next to you can probably answer this, Mohammed, because NBC pretty advanced in online video regionally and looking to take their content and their Shahid portal, almost as a spin-off and become a Hulu of the region. You obviously have a lot of content already. How are you looking to go that next step and become the service for other content owners, and how are you going to entice them to come onto your platform?
I think the good news is taking the big step of getting into video sphere, of offering video services to broadcasters and content right holders. This is big and good news to us after millions have been burned on trial and error.
Yeah.
And spending on hosting in Virginia while the customer is sitting in Riyadh.
Yeah.
And again, we get feedback from the customers. Your website is buffering. Yeah. So, see, as Tarif said, the three screen is here. It's not the future. It's no longer the future. Thank you, Tarif. So the three screens is here. Video portals is not as new as we always call it as the future. Shahid is 5 years old now. We started Shahid as a stickiness, as a catch-up service, where people cannot find something somewhere else, a good content. They turn to Shahid to watch or recycle NBC content again. We've seen all the ups and downs of hosting, CDNs, the battles for storage, the battles for conversion, different technologies, different devices. Today, NBC is changing the strategy of Shahid from being an NBC product to being an incubator for content. We recently opened up to other broadcasters, which some see as a competitor to NBC. We've seen the data, we've seen the feedback of the analytics, we've seen the hits we're getting from markets and the viewing time and viewing content. And we've seen there is no point of keeping Shahid locked up as a catch-up service for NBC only, because it has its share of publicity and market share in terms of viewership, in terms of data consumption, in terms of even perception of telecom operator being the video portal of this region, which is the video portal of this region. We don't deny others trying. We call on them to come and join hands rather than trying to fragment the market by going to content right holders and offer them 10 times what we offer the current producers, and most of them are young producers, startups. A company in Jordan produces 20 videos a month.
So that's the incubator part that you mentioned.
So we're turning a Shahid to a content incubator where the young and the talent content producers, the competitors of broadcasters who create good content, because at the end of the day the user comes to a Shahid not really for Shahid, comes to watch good content, good entertainment. So Shahid's been through a long way now, and I think it's reached to the point that we're now offering a telecom operator a model of localizing Shahid for your subscribers. So in Saudi, we're localizing it for telecom operators. In UAE, we're discussing with the telecom operator for localizing Shahid as because we have to find a way of cooperation.
Yeah.
And the best way is to offer the telecom operator Shahid as a product. It's your co-branded or white labeled or whatever, what have you.
That's interesting. Yeah, I haven't seen that in a lot of other markets yet.
Because we're trying to find a way to reach the consumers, the one behind the firewalls and the one in front of the firewalls.
Cool.
And
Okay, cool. Thank you. And just moving to Ali, we just talked about how Shahid grew from being something sticky to a simple catch-up service. How do you think other broadcasters and media companies that have a service today, it's not really where it is, they're looking to take it to the next level, how far should they go? I mean, is it just a value add? Is it going to complement what they're having on the broadcast side? Is it different content?
It's a combination of all the other. It depends what type of service it is. If it's a news channel, general entertainment channel, a music channel, and so on. And it also depends where your target audience is. I mean, if your target audience is in a country that doesn't have broadband, you might as well scrap your online strategy. Mm-hmm. Whereas if your target audience is in a country that has plenty of that, then you should start to consider it. But another thing you need to do is you don't just go online. Your content has to be properly digitized. Metadata has to be properly integrated into your content. You have to think differently. You now have to think that your content is out there. You need to be able to capture data, get feedback from your consumers, and so forth. So depending on who you are and at what level of market share you already have, and what kind of revenue streams you already have, and follow the revenue streams. If it's eyeballs you want, then you need to be on as many platforms as possible. There's nothing wrong with going on Shahid.net. There's nothing wrong with going on a multitude of operators. I mean, Shahid.net is proof that you don't need to telco to launch an OTT service. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, you need their platform, but if we just look outside the Middle East, there are so many OTT providers. There are private investors. Of course, they use the ISP platforms and the worldwide web, let's say. But you don't need the infrastructure of a telco yourself to invest in it. You just need to ride on it. Besides all of that, another important thing is marketing. Is actually telling and delivering the message that you're available here and there, and this is how you consume it, and so forth. So you need to be everywhere. I mean, on all kinds of screens, with all telcos, through as many OTT operators as possible. I mean, here in Dubai today, I have about over 1,000 OTT channels that I experiment with. I receive them here. Believe it or not, they're from all over the world. They're fantastic channels, beautifully delivered through adaptive rate technology. I can see it on my iPad, play it on my high-definition screen. 0 interruptions at 8 meg from Du. Thank you, Du. Sorry, but that's what I have. We're here. We're limited. And the thing is, it is possible. It's out there. It can be delivered. You have to, each broadcaster is unique. You have to look at the content that you have, and you have to figure out ways of how to monetize your content assets. Yeah. Exclusive content assets will be monetized very easily. Non-exclusive stuff will be challenging. The biggest challenge, of course, is acquired content, because often rights to redistribute content on OTT platforms is still not.
And it can get quite complex, I think.
It's very complex.
Because they'll go to.
It's possible. You need the right people to look into that, negotiate this for you, but it's very complicated.
Yeah. They even go down to the different device.
Absolutely.
And every time you have a new device, you got to go back and you got to go renegotiate. It can get And that obviously delays the time to market, right, where you can offer certain shows to the consumer. So that's, again, an important part to think about. Bas, when it comes to OSN, again, running a service